There we go. I knew something was off. Let me make sure that is all set. Good. Also, let me make sure this is not blocking my view of the screen. Professionalism. Okay, thank you all who are joining us, going to be joining us, or watching the VOD. Mr. Sparky, you are indeed first. I should also make sure my chat is working. Good. We had some technical difficulties, as always. Because is it really a stream if you don't have technical difficulties? Okay, but it looks like everything is going. Let me know how my audio is, and let me know how the background music is. Everything should be going just fine. Got me some brand new tea here that I'll be releasing hopefully this week. Depends on what I can get done. Oh, it's been a busy week, a hectic week, in mostly positive ways. My channel has been blowing up quite nicely. My Naruto video hit 2 million views. Disney's Wish is now at... How many views are we at so far? Let me take a quick little look. Disney's Wish is at 70,000, which now makes it my third most popular video, right behind the Good and Login video and right in front of Naruto Addendum. So with all of that self-aggrandizement out of the way, what we're here for... One second, let me turn this music up a little bit for me. Yeah, it's better. What we're here for is we are going to... one second. Why is this not coming up? There we go. Making sure the Rumble live chat is, well, live. And it says that I'm live, but at the same time, it's not playing. There we go. The technical difficulties never stop. At the same time, I see that Carlos... Hello, Carlos. Thank you for joining us, but you're not coming up on my screen where I can show off other people's chats. I don't understand anymore why things just don't work the way they're supposed to work. But enough about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to run through the plot line of Wish, and I'm going to go through the changes that I would make if I could rewrite it. It's not a perfect, hire me Hollywood type of rewrite. It's something I did in the past 2 days in between other work. But I'm quite happy with how things turned out. Let's see. Sparky, I'll be listening. Changing my oil in my truck, my mother-in-law's truck. Won't be going back to Walmart. Yeah, I saw that on Twitter. You had a not so fun a time. Thank you everybody else who's also joining us. Okay, so what we're going to do is on the right-hand side over here, that you guys can see, it is the bullet points of how the plot originally went. 25 quick little bullet points. And on this side over here is my rewrites. Now, you'll see here that I have one A/B, A/B, on, and then finally at some point it breaks off to 5A and 5B. The reason I did this is it seems like people are divided on two main things. So really, one main thing divided into two ways it could go. One, do they want the villain to be a traditional, always evil villain, like Disney has done in the past? Or two, do they want to make the villain what it seemed like they were originally trying to do, which is make him sympathetic in the beginning, but then make him a villain as the story progresses? So what I did is I made two versions, two alterations. Version A is going to be the sympathetic villain bout. And version B is going to be the traditional villain bout. And we'll see the differences as we go along. Take a little swig of my tea. I've still used a little bit too much basil. But that's neither here nor there. So, just chewing a cough drop. We have... Okay, might as well go ahead and begin. Sorry. So on the right, number 1, fairy tale book opening. The movie opens, opening up the book, and going through the background of the villain. For those who didn't see, in the background, he had land when he was a kid, or his parents did. Evil bandits and marauders came and stole the land, presumably killed his parents and left them all alone. And so in his rage and acts of defiance, or whatever they were going for, he studied magic, became a powerful sorcerer to make sure those things never happen again. He went off to build the Kingdom of Roses. At the time, nobody lived in it, and he just built it from scratch. People came because they heard he was so awesome, and the story begins. I will keep everything the same right in the beginning. The beginning was fine, nothing I would change. The story moves on with main character Asha talking with her grandpa, who is 100 years old. And she feels that since the day which this takes place is his birthday, that he will finally get his wish granted. Something I'm going to, if I could be right, it's something I would change, is Asha's whole quirkiness factor in all of this. Take it out completely. No more of this quirky character. Instead, for my rewrite, A and B, what I would do is make it a starry-eyed idealist, where when she looks at people's wishes and the joy and happiness it gives them, she just becomes elated with it. And that's one of her real big loves, seeing people's wishes get granted and seeing them just light up with happiness. So, my changes: make Asha's desire to be King's apprentice something separate from wanting Grandpa's wish to be granted. So in the original, and this was just kind of annoyingly done, which again showcases Asha was kind of a bad person. Combination bad person and Mary Sue at the same time, fantastic. So what happened was, she was trying out to become the King's apprentice. But in the original, the only reason she was doing that was so she can sweet-talk the king into granting her grandfather's wish. It's kind of a bitch thing to do. He's trying to find the next apprentice to lead the kingdom, and you're using it as a way to kind of sneak in and get your grandpa's wish granted. Kind of a shit thing to do. So what I'm going to do, make Asha's desire to be King's apprentice something separate from wanting Grandpa's wish to be granted. So she wants to be the King's apprentice. She's always wanted to be the King's apprentice in my version. The reason why is she wants to do what the king does, which is grant people's wish, make them happy, see the kingdom flourish, all of that stuff. Establish her love and admiration for wishes, and that's why she wants her grandpa's wish to be granted so bad, because she loves wishes and also loves him. Before she can do that, she must give the tour, which is our introductory musical number, Welcome to the Kingdom of Rosas. I think that's the full title. And she sings about just how wonderful Rosas is to new people who have come by. So that's how that goes. My changes: start establishing during the tour / song that not everything is as wonderful as it seems. Plant some of these seeds ahead of time. You don't have to be upfront about it. Be subtle about it. Maybe have new citizens ask her questions, showcase some people's lack of ambition, etc. Going forward in time a little bit for those who haven't seen it, when the king takes your wishes, you become a bit lethargic, I guess is the right word. Because you forget what those wishes were, so you're not as enthusiastic about doing whatever it is you're doing. Which is strange, because they didn't really pull that off too well, because you still see plenty of people being really happy and just like, go get them with that attitude. But what they were trying to go for is your wishes are taken away and you become all sad and lethargic. So I'll play into that more. And give the feeling of people's wishes / dreams, when they're taken away from them and they don't have any, that they become sad. Show when they get excited over the thoughts of the king, or their peaceful lives, or their wish eventually being granted, they're all nice and happy. When it comes to everyday life, they're kind of meh, maybe even miserable. Establish that the positive emotions come from even the thought of wishes. Give the wishes a foundation of being something really important, not just by Asha just saying they're important. Give them that weight. Thought of wishes or the false idol that is the king. Make them all worship the king because the king grants wishes, and so they think that king is just oh so amazing. And I'll go for both version A and version B of the new script. But the regular lives without any dreams/wishes is dull. Establish the importance of the freaking wishes in more than words. Next part of the plot, meet with friend, the king's cook. So Asha's best friend is the cook of the king. And she is one of the seven, she's a representation of one of the 7 dwarves. And the other 6 friends are also dwarves. Not little dwarves, but representations. It was not really well done in my opinion, but we'll go with it. It's not too important. So what do I say here? So when she meets with the friend's cook, all she really does is establish that she is just so quirky. And that's about it. My rewrite? When meeting with friend/king's cook, give Asha some damn wish-like desires. It's kind of strange. She is 17 years old, and at 18 is when you're supposed to give up your wish. But she never shows any indication throughout the entire movie that she has any wish of her own. Which is just silly. Why not give her some type of wish? That's part of the whole movie. So give her some damn wish-like desires. To keep Disney as it should be, because there was no love interest in this movie, and love is always a big part of these movies. It was. Let the friend coax her into saying her wish revolves around love, but keep it vague for now. It'll come into play in both A and B versions of the plots, in my rewrite. Also establish her loyalty to the idea of the king and what he's supposed to represent before she meets him. Play with the notion of love of country, extended family, your family, and individual love. Imply some romantic feelings with betrayal friend. So in the original, she has a friend who went ahead and betrayed her. Betrayed everybody for the sake of getting his wish granted. And of course, like one of the only white people in the thing. They had to make him into a bad guy, and they didn't really do it well. When we go further into the plot and when that scene comes up, you'll see how I rewrote it to make it more sympathetic and feel more natural. Because the second half of the movie, nothing felt natural. Everything just felt like we needed this to happen for the sake of it happening. Just bad writing, in my opinion. Yeah, play with Leno's country. Talk about it seems to have changed after giving up his wish. So yeah, in the movie, in the original, they were all basically making fun of him because after he gave up his wish, he was apparently really just boring to be around, and none of them were being nice about it. They were trying to, but they weren't. And this, my rewrite, it would just make him feel like something is missing from his life, but they're gonna be more sympathetic as opposed to just being passive-aggressive bullies, I guess you can say. Yeah, but don't be as stupidly insulting as before. Going on to number 5, apprentice meeting, and this is where the 2 potential plots break apart. Gloria Zote, thank you for joining us over on Rumble. Did you see what I said in Discord a few days ago or something about what I think should have changed? Possibly give me a quick reminder. Because between what you might have said in Discord and a lot of comments on the video, I've lost track of who said what. So number 5 begins. She begins her apprentice meeting with the king. 5A. A is the plotline where the king was the good guy who became evil. When she meets the king, have him retell his background of his family dying and how, as a boy, before the raids on his village or land or whatever happened, he had his own childlike wish. which will come into play later in the rewrite. I said it should have focused more about the king taking away free will in some way, rather than him choosing what comes true or not. Yeah, that would have been considerably better. Cold Frost, booga booga booga. Please no racism in chat. That wasn't actually racist. What was it? Oh yeah. So yes, he had his own childlike wish when he was a child, and he got baited. After the horrible events, he wished he had the power to prevent such horrible events from happening again, from anyone having to lose their wishes like he once did. So he starts out in this version with good intentions. He wants to prevent people from losing their wishes like he did in this horrible, tragic way. A trauma in his past that keeps getting brought up. How he worked and struggled to gain the power he has now. Gain the power he has now. How now he can keep people safe and help grant their wishes, so long as they're safe and don't risk horrible things happening again. Prayer Warrior 4, thank you for joining us over on YouTube. Continuing with plot 5a. Where's my mouse? There's my mouse. When Asha asks him, what does he mean? When he says, so long as they're safe and no risk horrible things happening again, he picks out a few wishes to explain the ramifications of a bad wish. So the purpose of this rewrite is that we need to establish why he may do the things that he does. Why is he keeping people's wishes away from them? Most, as he puts it. They never really did a good job of making us feel like he needed to do it, or that he didn't need to do it. They just kind of threw it out there. Use genuinely good examples of bad wishes. Someone wishes a girl falls in love with him, he'd be forcing good emotions. Can't have that, like emotional slavery. Another wishes to be a brave warrior who fights his enemies, but since the process is peaceful and has no outside threats, he will have to invent enemies from the people of Rosas. So he can't have that wish being granted. Finally, he gets to Grandpa's wish. He explains, like he did in the original, how his vagueness might inspire the young generation to do something dangerous. I don't know, maybe go climb a cliff that's dangerous, or just anything. Or might inspire them to become land-conquering marauders themselves. And going back to the past trauma he had of the things that happened. Preventing that type of inspiration, aspiration, ambition. That's the right word, ambition. Because with the vagueness, it can go one way or the other. He doesn't know. Right. Asha is shocked at this. She commented how Grandpa is good. He wouldn't do any of that. But the king doesn't know Grandpa, so he doesn't know. She makes a comment on how the other examples should still be given a chance to try and make their dreams come true. The loved one especially bothers her, because it's so similar to her wish, the one we talked about before in the rewrite, where she has a vague notion of what the wish is revolving around love. So the example he used of somebody who wants a woman to fall in love with him kind of eats away at her, because it's so similar to hers. See, a connection that the movie never made in anything. It makes her wonder if she'll lose her feelings of love when she gets her wish taken away. By taking away and not granting someone's wish to have a girl fall in love with him, he's preventing her from basically being mind controlled, and that's good. But he's also not letting him work towards making her fall in love, which is effectively the same as denying a chance for love to happen. Something I just thought of when rereading this. Going back in time, when she does the Kingdom of Rosas song, that could be one of the people they walk by. They could walk by this lad who has this wish and the woman. And she makes a notice about how he's kind of now ambivalent towards her, something along those lines. Or maybe she wants to be friendly with him, but he's just kind of It's Trabacius T. Hoping it's saying it right. Hey, Treasure really liked your video. I have to ask, did Magnifico ever set out some guidelines to his people on wishes to make? E.g., don't be vague. Seems like it makes sense. As far as we know, no. And since Asha, the main character, was shocked by what he was saying, I'm fairly positive he did not do such a thing. Would have been a good thing for them to mention in the movie. They just never did. Alright. But he's also not letting him work towards making her fall in love, which is effectively the same as denying a chance for love to happen. So here we're showing that the king has good intentions. Sure, he doesn't want to mind control the woman, but at the same time, by taking this wish away, he's preventing the man from doing anything positive to have that love happen. Maybe he wants to start a family with her. Not anymore. So the king, getting a little bit annoyed at her questioning, asks what would happen if he does something bad for the sake of his wish, the lover guy. Or what if his wish is crushed by the woman falling in love with another, much like his past wish was crushed by the bandits. So it's not a direct one-to-one, but he wants to prevent people from having their wishes crushed, their hopes and dreams crushed like his was. Which is noble, but turns into something bad. Which is why he's becoming, in my vision, a sympathetic villain. He's got the good intentions, he's going about it all wrong. Falling in love with another, much like his past crushed by the bandits, Asha says he can't know what the future holds. Maybe the heartbreak will lead to another wish he has that leads to something great. Like how the king made his beautiful empire when he lost his previous wish and picked up this one. So it is a good comment in a vacuum, where you might lose your wish, but you might pick up a much better one along the later on down the line. Which, in a sense, King Magnifico, that's what happened with him. Since she's all like, yeah, so that whole thing about your family being slaughtered, it turned out to be a good thing because you made this kingdom, and this enrages the king. How dare you try and say my horrible past led to something good, etc. The rest of the scene plays out like normal. So in my version, Asha actually is not a Mirisu and makes a couple of mistakes. She's just so starry-eyed and happy and wants to see the best in everything that she sometimes does dumb things because of that. So 5B is the traditional evil route. So if we were going to go with the version of Magnifico was always an old school Disney villain, he knows exactly what he's doing. He is keeping the people docile, keeping them in line. The bandits had dreams of living better and butchered his family over it. So now he's making sure that no one has such ambitions again, and only grants the wishes of people who don't threaten the comfy life he has built for himself. Asha asks, what about the wishes based on love? The king makes some comments about sacrifice for the greater good, etc. Bringing in those ideas. Yeah, greater good, believe me, I'm doing the right thing. In the back and forth arguing, Asha realizes on her own that people's wishes should not be controlled by outside forces at all. The free will thing, like Gloria Zote mentioned. That wishes are something people need to chase after themselves. The king starts to see her as a threat, and the rest of the scene happens as normal. So, scene 6, or part 6 for me, happens, which is the king has his wish granting ceremony, and he grants the wish to a random woman who her wish was to make the most beautiful dresses in all of Rosas. And so that was her wish that the king granted. So, sympathetic villain route, 6A. After granting the make most beautiful clothes in Rosas wish, the king talks to Asha. Says that he is able to grant this wish he's able to grant this wish now as the only remaining clothes maker is looking to retire. So this is the perfect opportunity. So again, sympathetic villain. They're showing that he is still trying to do the good thing. And you can see in this, if you just take this part, he's doing a good thing. He waited until the right moment to grant this wish. He then points to another person and mentions how her wish is the exact same, make the most beautiful clothes in Rosas. The king asks Asha, how can he grant both wishes at the same time? Asha asks, why does he get the power to deny another's wish like this? So yeah, you granted this person's wish, but at the same time, you've completely denied this person theirs. What gives you the right? The king, in the sympathetic route, has a moment of self-reflection before brushing her off. 6b, the king just rubs it in her face that he granted the wish to somebody besides her grandpa. So Asha is all sad. The next scene, he has her eating with her grandpa, where she tells him his wish won't be granted. In the original, she says this and she just blurts it out. The grandpa's reaction was basically like, why would you tell me this? You're denying me the hope I would have otherwise had. And so he's understandably pissed, and Asha just runs off into the woods being all sad and whatnot. Asha gets wished completely by the basic fact that only one of these wishes can be granted. They're mutually incompatible. Yes, but in my version, why does the king get to decide who gets the wish and who doesn't? And that's the route that he was going for. Oh, rumble check, get back here. There we go. Alright. So in my version of the scene where they're eating with the grandpa, 7a, the sympathetic villain route, Asha accidentally lets it slip about grandpa's wish not being granted. But then as she gets caught in all this, instead of backing down, she goes on a tirade that it's not fair. Flip a coin. Grandpa looks depressed because he now believes the false idol that is the king. Since the king said his wish might be dangerous, he, the grandpa, now too believes the wish is dangerous and thinks himself a bad person who wasted the last 100 years of his life. This is what got Asha all upset and had her storming out, making the wish on the star. So because of what she accidentally let slip, that's her mistake, the grandpa now thinks, hey, since the king, who's made this peaceful place just so fantastic, he's saying that my wish might be dangerous, maybe I'm actually a dangerous person. And so this makes the grandpa just depressed. But Asha knows her grandpa. She knows that he is not actually evil, but he's just been brainwashed by love, I guess you can say. Jackson. Well, unironically, it's the people who give the king the right. They willingly give Magnifico their wishes in return for moving or living in the kingdom. In return, they don't have taxes, war, or pain. Yes, it's the specific term for it. I forgot what the specific name for it is, but the example is that if you look at prison in the way it is, it's kind of like a paradise. You don't have to pay rent, you get free food, etc. So in this, the people don't realize that when they give up their wishes, they're kind of giving up a huge part of themselves, which the movie did a horrible job portraying. But in my version, they do a good job portraying. I kind of feel like you might also feel happy to know your dangerous wish is not going to be granted, and you don't have to know what your wish is. Personally, I would rather know what my wish was. And we'll see later on as they play along the lines of just having it magically be granted versus being able to work towards your wish. Okay, so that's 7A. Asha lets it all slip out. Grandpa is depressed. She goes storming out and does the whole wish number where she wishes upon the star. 7B, which is the villain route, or the traditional villain route. Asha tells her family what the king is truly like. And while she's explaining how the king actually is, just a traditional Disney villain, accidentally lets it slip about Grandpa's wish and how it's not going to be granted. Asha starts further developing her idea. She's, learning this as she's going along, which is how 7B or Route B goes with this. She's kind of learning that she might be all starry-eyed with her ideals, but there's certain things that are going wrong with all of this. Developing an idea that giving anyone power over your wishes/dreams is dangerous. That's the villain version. He controls their dreams. Obviously, that's not a good thing. And that you need to be able to pursue them yourself. that a wish that you try to achieve and fail yourself is better than the one that is forever denied to you, or even one that's just given to you. That's another aspect which I wish they could play along with more. Just given the opportunity to make the most beautiful dresses in all the kingdom, which is... Let me rephrase that. Just given the ability to make all the beautiful dresses in the kingdom, which is given the opportunity to make all the beautiful dresses. Different ways of looking at it. Grandpa tells her to fuck off and storms out. And she storms out, making her wish on the star. Does the king even need to be a villain? This could be a story about Asha learning how getting wishes handed to you denies the value of learning skills. That's Path A. So if you're just joining us, Path A is the sympathetic villain route, where the king starts out as just a plain old good guy. Like, he's doing what he thinks is best, and there's no malice in what he does. Version B is... he's just the old school villain. I'm playing off both ends depending on what people prefer, because people were divided in my comment section about that, if he should be a sympathetic villain or traditional villain. So Grandpa tells her, basically, piss off, you don't know what you're talking about. She storms out, making a wish on the star. 8, she runs out and does the wish song. 8 for A and B. Wish song lyrics are changed to better reflect in the turmoil if it's Path A or Path B. Just the act of pursuing your wishes is conflict enough. I don't disagree. Alright, so 9. So she makes her wish upon the wishing star, and the wishing star appears before her. And everyone, including the king, notices. So when she makes the wish comes on down and makes a huge beam of light go all over the place. And everyone in the village or the kingdom sees it, including the king, who has no idea what's going on. And he is, he's not happy. I've had enough of twist villains since Frozen. How about twist hero for a change? That is a possible thing. I want a proper Disney villain, but Magnifico, by his very concept, feels like a fitting square peg in a round hole. Yeah, which is why I'm rewriting it. So in the way I'm doing it, I'm not making a twist villain. I'm making a villain that you see coming. Because I point out where he starts to kind of go off the rails. You see right away where his faults might be as the story progresses. Who is trying to call me at this time? Go away. I don't like you. Okay, back to the plot. So Wishing Star falls 9, A and B. Wishing Star starts doing the whole granting everything a wish thing. So the Wishing Star that touches something, wish gets granted. He does it to like plants and animals, which goes into the idea of, so the mushrooms that he touched, the mushrooms had a wish. They didn't really explain that one too well, but whatever. We'll just run with it, Disney logic. It's one of those plot holes that you can just look over, it's fine. But Asha, in my version, tells the Wishing Star no, because Path A or B reasoning, depending on if you go with Path A or Path B. As she starts to realize that wishes are more than just, you should just automatically get them granted, leave it to somebody else to do it for you. Magic mushrooms want to be magic mushrooms. Mouse, there you are. So it tells her no because A or B reasoning. The star begins to learn with her, because the star is portrayed as like a dumb child, basically. The king reacts the same as A or B. He feels threatened by it. He spends all night looking through all of his books trying to figure out what the hell just happened. He feels he is threatened either Path A, his lands might be attacked like how when he was a child and he'll do anything to prevent it again, or B, if he's traditional villain, his power is threatened and he'll do anything to prevent relinquishing his power. Something I didn't mention, when Asha was doing her apprenticeship thing, she came across a forbidden book. And the king explains how this book has evil forbidden magic. He doesn't want to touch it, but he keeps it around just in case he ever needs to use it. Because a king must be prepared for anything. And so that's why he had the evil magical book that made him go all crazy. Ooh, what if the wishing star was a naive being whose abilities are abused by Aisha, who thinks she's doing good but causing harm/problems? That is another way they could have gone with it. What if her actions put the kingdom at risk for the climax? Yeah, that would be a good way to showcase that there are some dangers that might come from what you're trying to do. And make her the twist villain and make the villain the king twist hero. That is another way it could have gone. But that actually might be too deep for a Disney movie centered around kids. It's a good idea, but would the kids be able to properly follow along? Maybe. Alright, so number 10, a new song, Everyone's a Star. It kind of comes out of nowhere, didn't really make sense until the end. But all the animals and plants begin to sing to Asha about how everyone is a star. They're made out of the same stardust. Black Science Man would have an orgasm if he ever listened to the song. And so they did that. For me, Asha's questioning on what wishes truly mean lead the animals to sing the Everyone's a Star song. So now she's got this inner turmoil. You know, she's been all about the wishes and how the wishes make people feel good and how she wants everyone's wish to be granted. But now she realizes that maybe just granting wishes willy-nilly might not be the best option. And so she has a little bit of a inner turmoil with that. Whether or not stars should be able to grant these wishes. And so the animals sing Everyone's a Star song, lyrics change to inspire a better form of nature's wisdom. Say something along the lines of, if you're a star and stars have the magic to grant wishes, you have the magic to grant your own wishes. So it should go along with what she started to think. That maybe you should not have somebody else granting wishes, maybe you should grant your own wishes. 11. Get back here. Let's see. The king is freaking out because he can't find the source of the light, feels threatened, thinks to turning towards the forbidden magic book, but the wife stops him, the queen stops him. 11a, the sympathetic villain route. The king turns to the forbidden book, saying he will go to any lengths to prevent his rule from being questioned. For questioning his rule will obviously, in his mind, lead to the tragedy of his childhood again, but this time for the entire kingdom, not just his people or his family. And so he wants to turn towards the book, but the queen convinces him he's overreacting. 11b, the traditional villain route, same, but he just doesn't want his power to be threatened. The queen stops him by appealing to his vanity. He's so powerful already, wouldn't it be insulting to him if he just has to rely on that stupid book instead of his own power? And so that's how she keeps him from making a big mistake. 12. They, and by they I mean Asha and the star, decide to go steal back Grandpa's wish. 12a/b. So yeah, decides to steal back Grandpa's wish. Route A, to make Grandpa stop thinking he's actually an evil person. So in Route A, Grandpa thinks he's a bad guy. Or B, to show that there truly is another path for all the people of Rosas. To show that his wish is not too bad. It's something he can't pursue himself. They don't need the king anymore. 13. She goes to the 7 dwarf friends for help. 13ab, take out the entire chicken coop scene. So that was that scene you might have seen in the trailers where all the chickens are singing and that stupid goat is leading them. Your wings can't fly, but your voices can. That route. Why is my Rumble chat closed? Come here, you. There we go. Just take that whole scene out, and if you can't take the goat out, I didn't talk about this in my review, but the goat was probably the worst part of the movie. Just every scene was just annoying. Had no purpose in it at all. I think kids would be able to understand somebody with good intentions might still screw up. Most kids experience being in one of the roles there pretty easily, or pretty early. What was I? 13, right? Yeah, asking the dwarf friends for help. So take out the entire chicken coop scene. Maybe even take out the stupid goat if you can. Have the star showcase its power to friends in any other way. 14. Asha sneaks into the kingdom. The best friend stalls the king, makes people start. Okay, so in the original movie, what happened was she got her friends to help her out by stalling the king. Because the king went out and made a whole speech about, hey, this light show that happened last night, I didn't cause it. Help me find who was it. Asha was told of a secret path from the kitchen to the king's study. And that's how she got into the king's study. And she asked her friends to stall for time. So the king made a speech, was about to leave, and the friends were like, hold up, I got a couple of questions. Would any information be useful for this? He's like, yeah, just give me anything you got. So they started asking questions, and then the townsfolk asked questions like, what if we wanted to change our wish? How long do we usually wait? Is it possible to grant more wishes or less? Could this thing actually be a good guy? And in the movie, this completely sets the king off in a way that just does not feel in line with his character. So with the rewrites, 14. 14A, sympathetic route. When the townsfolk start asking the questions to the king, his ideals and vision start getting questioned, like mentioned earlier. Someone says something that, for a confused mind like his, because he's now getting just confused with all the stuff that's happened the past 2 days, he starts to envision it as people with pitchforks ready to take over his lands, like the marauders. So he has a freak-out moment and runs back to the castle. 14B, similar, but people start questioning him in a more angry way. For this path to traditional villain, people talking about wishes make some start to sprout new wishes inside of them, which makes him terrified. So he starts to see a little bit of a glow they had in the movie whenever they have their wish. And he sees the sparks of that, and it makes him terrified. Because now he doesn't have control over them. And it'll come into play later. So, number 15, villain song, the king turns towards the book. In 15A, for the sympathetic villain, the villain song showcases him going from good guy to bad guy, turning towards the book. I couldn't think of a good way, but make some kind of analogy to the One Ring. Where, yeah, this thing is powerful, but... And you'll see why in a sec. Turns towards the book because he feels he has no other choice. He's still saying good things, he still wants to protect the people. He just feels he has to make this sacrifice for his people. They showcase the book corrupting his mind, taking his thoughts and twisting them into things that are not there. So like an evil storybook. The song showcases how he feels that song showcases how he feels that all he's worked for so far is still not enough. All the work he has done and his kingdom is still being threatened. He starts to disassociate by blaming the townsfolk. So this is the thanks I get. And that's how the song becomes more relevant, I guess. He's done so much in version A, but he feels like it's still not enough, and because of the demon magic with the book, starts to mess with his mind. 15B. This version has the mask slipping, with the lyrics of This is the Thanks I Get meant to instill revulsion at him. So things like, I let you be happy by being close to my radiance, and this is the thanks I get, or I let you live your docile life instead of banishing you, and this is the thanks I get. Lyrics like that. More relevant, less mindful of the giving tree. What was the giving tree? I don't quite remember that. Where's my mouse? Okay, so that was 15. 16. So Asha After she takes back the wish, returns to the grandpa, but the king intercepts them at their home because someone ratted them out. 16 AB plays out the same, but in version A, Asha starts to notice something is very different about the king. There's a little bit more malice in his voice. Remembers the previously mentioned evil book. And so she realizes, oh no, he used the book because of what I did. In B, she goes, I knew you were low. I didn't think you would stoop this low. So in 17, the king shows off his new power by grabbing his mother's wish and crushing it. Absorbing the power, but the mother feels like she's now like basically dying. Not literally, but she is just... Oh, man. The Giving Tree is a children's book. Oh, yeah. Where the Giving Tree gives a girl whatever she asks for until it has nothing left to give. She never is grateful, just upset that the Giving Tree is gone. Okay, that's what you're talking about. What was it? Oh, yeah. So that was a 16. 17. The king shows off power, crushing mother's wish. A/B. In A, he feels a bit of remorse for crushing the mother's wish before the book's magic hooks him back into the power. So he knows what he's doing is wrong, but because of the twisting of the magic demon book, it, puts him back to normal. Your version explaining where the wishing power comes from for these wishes. Scarcity is real. Sorcery. Magic. That's, children's stuff. Nothing, you don't need to go too deep into those details. Remember, it's got to be for the kids as well. So he feels, okay, while in B, good old villain route, he plays it off as, this is what I could have done all along, and it's your fault I'm doing it now. So blaming Asha for becoming more tyrannical. And also 17B, I added this a little bit later. In traditional villain version, let's have the king use his powers to extract Asha's wish before she escapes and crush that too. Which will be relevant coming up in a little bit. So Asha also had a wish, but not anymore. Now she can't even remember what it is. Yeah, it's good tea. I still use too much basil. Anyway, back to the plot. 18. Family managed to escape. Asha and Star decide they need to go back and release everyone's wishes. So in the original, they managed to escape the king because of shenanigans. They escape by boats going down a lake. And... I think kids can get scarcity the moment there are N kids and N-1 cookies too. They can get scarcity, but it's going too deep into everything. If we don't need to bring in economics for the kids. I'm not saying it's wrong in general. I'm just saying when you start to add too much stuff, it gets to be a little bit bloated. That's all I'm saying with that. So you're right. I just need to cut back on the bloat. So they manage to escape. Asha is feeling terrible. Family tries to cheer her up, and Asha decides, I need to go back and, save everybody's wishes in the original. My version, 18, right? Yep, 18A. Where Sympathetic villain. Asha feels like it's her fault for causing all of this and destroying everybody's peace. So Kingdom was peaceful, and Asha decided, she's gonna make everything right, and now everything is just awful. She chased her wish to grant everyone else's wishes out of love, and she just proved the king right. In her chasing her own wish, as opposed to listening to the king, she's caused all of this madness and chaos. At least that's how she views it right now. Her family tells her that she is wrong. Her wish wasn't to grant everyone else's wishes, but for them to have them and chase after their wishes themselves. She did it out of the love she had for her family and the people of Rosas, the extended family mentioned earlier. She decides she has to go back to save the king from the book, to set everything right. In version B, the villain, we start to get a little bit more different. Spicy Wolf. I'm looking forward to the next Spice and Wolf. That's coming out next season, I think. I gotta double check. Anyway, so in the traditional villain, she feels bad because her stupidity caused her to take on a tyrant. Gabby, thank you for joining us over on Rumble. Disney has lost over $25 billion due to boycott. Good. So she feels bad because her stupidity caused her to take on a tyrant, and now everything is going to hell. So she is all nice and depressed. I don't know if the hero's journey is worth it. Her family assures her that she was following her heart and doing the right thing. And so long as she still has hope in her heart, it's never too late. So bringing hope into all of this. Asha thinks about the hope in her heart and the love of her family, and then the glowing light of a wish appears in her heart again. Another wish, her family exclaims. No, Asha says. Even if the king crushes my wish, he cannot crush my hope. And hope is what gives birth. Hope is what gives birth to wishes. And this will set up the ending scene and make it better. So with this, I wanted to go a little bit deeper into what these wishes are and why, where they come from and why. They come from a sense of hope. Because if you have no hope, you have no wishes. Why would you wish? You don't have any hope. But when you have that hope, that feeling that something good can come from your acts, your hard work, your bravery, just all of those nice things, then those wishes get made. So even if someone or something comes along and crushes whatever wish you had, as long as you have that hope, more wishes, either brand new ones or the same ones just modified, will still come out of you. That's something nobody else, no other tyrant can take away. So giving that feel to it. 19. So in this scene, the king is down in a secret laboratory. The book is messing with him. He's creating like a powerful staff to make him do staffly magics. The queen sees the king playing with forbidden magic, knowing that he touched the book after she said, hey, maybe you shouldn't. In the movie, she questions him and he threatens her. In my version, in A, the king is still struggling internally. An evil book demon convinces him that crushing others' wishes is important to move forward. So yeah, to create the staff, he had to crush more people's wishes to give the staff the power. And he just did it willy-nilly in the original. So much for being sympathetic, I guess. This is when it starts to get a little bit weird, because it's like, you would never this evil, dude. It's getting a little bit overboard. So, in my change, if it's the sympathetic route, the king is still struggling internally. An evil book demon convinces him that crushing others' wishes is important to move forward. The queen sees that he is not himself. But in version B, she starts to see him for who he really is. Black Prism, thank you for joining us. A great day for you to achieve your ambitions. Never give up and keep running the path of success and happiness no matter what. Have a nice day. Stay safe and enjoy life. Thank you for that. I've had a lot of good messages from people recently, and it makes me happy. Like, finally, things are paying off. Alright. 20, we're almost done. 20 out of 25. And if I do say for myself, I am happy with how I end everything. You guys let me know how I end it when I get to that point. So in the movie, after he makes the staff, he calls the people of town to come to him again, and he reveals that Asha is the traitor. And the one who betrayed them for the sake of getting their wish granted was one of their friends, the only white guy, who of course betrayed everybody. They never really gave us any reason to feel sympathetic. He just did it because he wanted his wish granted, and that's it. Which I don't like, and you'll see how I change it. He gets his wish granted as promised, to be a powerful knight to loyally serve the kingdom. That was his original wish. And when he makes that wish, or when his wish is granted, the evil book magic corrupts him. His eyes glow green, etc. That scene was shit, so I changed it. When the friend finally betrays them, in version A, the king convinces him that it's not to arrest Asha or anything, but to help her. The star has corrupted her. In B, it's the same, but it's more of a sinister lie as opposed to a genuine concern. It's revealed that his wish, his new wish, is to be a knight to protect not the kingdom, but all that he loves. So when his wish is revealed to protect all that he loves, everyone takes it to mean the whole kingdom. And the book magic still corrupts him, glowing green eyes, etc. Version 21. The rest of the friends, the 7 dwarves, I guess 6 dwarves now, and Asha, and eventually the queen, hide out and have a revolution song. The song was pretty good by itself, but a lot of the lyrics made no sense in context. So, Asha found out about the king yesterday. The friends found out about the king like an hour ago. And so lyrics have a lot of stuff like, we're not going to take this anymore, we've been held down for too long, things along those lines. Like, you guys haven't suffered enough to be able to say these things. And at some point they had this long drum solo where in the middle of preparing for this revolution, everyone just starts playing the drums. It's really dumb, I hate it. So, X21, 21A/B, mouse, there you are. So redo revolution song to take out the mindless drum solo part, not in the song but the animation. Also make the actions have some sort of meaning. So in the movie, when they were all moving around and doing various things to prepare for this revolution, none of it made sense. None of it was going anywhere. It looked like they were building an outline of the kingdom with just random stuff they found lying around, but it didn't go anywhere. They basically did nothing relevant during the action. For version A changed the lyrics a bit to signify that part of it was their own fault, that part of the reason why this is all gone to hell was Asha's fault. It was still for a good cause. El Utaku, thank you for joining us. Here's my take on how Wish should be, despite that I didn't watch it. King Magnifico should have been a protagonist, and it should focus on him building his own king and defending his new kingdom. That's another way it could have gone. By that point, you're kind of taking away the whole princess part of it. It's a Disney movie. You still need the princesses, but it's a good idea for its own movie. So, what am I? 22. Asha comes up with a plan. The plan of the original is she lures the king away from the castle, and all the friends and the queen, princess can be his daughter, back to work. There you go. So yeah, Asha comes up with a plan, lead the king away into the forest, while all the friends go to the castle and release all the wishes along with the wishing star, etc., etc. Alright. Asha lures king away from the castle. Magic battle chase scene ensues. Oh yeah, the star gives it a magic wand. His friends try to release wishes. Turns out king was friend in disguise. Real king had set up a trap for friends and wishes. So the king saw through the ruse, and he sent the friend over to do battle with Asha, but disguised as the king, because magic. I mean, with a name like Magnifico, why is he white? Yeah. Alright, so 22A. After Asha's battle with Fake King, when she realizes it's betrayal friend who has been corrupted, she starts to speak to him to help him break the spell. Half would have some flashbacks of before he gave his wish away. So something which I would change that I mentioned earlier is when she talks about her wish having to do something with love. Play to the idea that some of that love is directed towards this guy, that there is some kind of a connection there, but it's not fully developed yet, just like a little bit of foreshadowing. And so at this point, she realized that his wish was not to protect the kingdom, to protect all that he loves, including the people. So flashbacks before he gave his wish away. His wish was to become a knight to protect those he loves. What he loves is not the idea of the kingdom of Rosas, but the people in Rosas. And that includes her. And when she says, like, that includes me. This makes him have the internal conflict, the internal struggle within himself, where he now starts to fight the demon who's trying to corrupt his mind. And in this fight, he tells her to go and stop the king as he continues to fight the demons in his mind. In the evil villain path, plays out similarly, only the angle is that Asha figured that's what his wish was. She figures out, hey, your wish was actually protect those you love, not the kingdom. But the king corrupted his pure wish into something evil. Which you play into the motif of, hey, sometimes your wishes, which seem really good, can be twisted to something evil. It doesn't matter how pure you started out, things can become twisted, and so that's the idea behind that. And used his good intentions to turn him into something he's not. It's up to him to fight what he's become. Internal struggle, like before, ensues. So again, he starts to have this internal struggle of, what is the true goal of my wish? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And Asha goes to with the king. 23. At this point, the king has captured the friends, captured the star. Everyone in the kingdom is seeing that he's, glowing green evil. All of that fun stuff. He's just stereotypical asshole at this point. Asha writes back, Hood and the king have the conflict. The king hides the star, so he uses his staff to hide the star so nobody else can make a wish. So no one can make a wish on them to prevent anyone from summoning a star again. Carlos, hello again. Hispanics can be pale, but most of the time they're covered freckles. It's rare, but pure white Hispanic can happen. Peon X. I'll probably write it so the king overlooks a baron's wish of helping maintain his kingdom, and a conflict comes from in that town. You can no longer opt out of the king's system. They could do something like that as well. Alright, so here is where my big ending begins to happen. It actually begins at 24, but whatever. Alright. So in 23A, which is the sympathetic villain route, in plot A, the dark magics have corrupted the king. And Asha's main goal / battle is to show him what he's now become. How his good intentions have become twisted. When he combined self-doubt with the evil stories in that book. So somehow playing along the lines of the motif of, if you're having self-doubts or just bad things are happening, one bad story can help corrupt your mind and twist good things into bad things. They, which is Asha and the king, talk about the power of wishes and how his wish made him so powerful he built an entire kingdom. Why would he deny his wish, or why would he deny his people the ability to have wishes that could make them as good and powerful as him? Remember, this is a sympathetic route. Throw in a message about the journey being more important than the destination. The king shows his internal struggle, but the book at this point has too strong of a hold over him. In plot B, which is the traditional villain route, the king questions how she gained her wish back after he broke it. So remember, in plot B, she reignites the wish inside her after he crushed it. So the king sees that the wish is now inside her again, so he's like, what the hell? I crushed it. I crushed your hopes and dreams. She explains the whole hope leads to wishes thing, with everyone listening in. So the thing we talk about, hope and wishes, etc. Also, she says that her hope is more powerful than any magic he is able to conjure. Write the lyrics something along the lines of, my internal power is more powerful than your external magics. Things along those lines. Goes on a rant about the power of wishes and why he's not allowed to play God with other people's wishes. The evil king gets pissed and uses his staff to throw her around a bit. Slam her on the ground. Make him a villain. 24. So while she is dealing with the king, either in version B, he's throwing around, or version A, he's just, the book is taking over. Asha remembers the lesson the movie tried to portray earlier, which is everyone's a star. So the king covered up the stars up in the heavens so people can't make a wish on them. But she remembers everybody's a star, and so as long as you have the star power within you, you can make the wish. I see what they were going for, they just did not pull it off well. So use the power of friendship or whatever to thwart King and trap him. In the original movie. In my version. Give me some more tea. That is smooth. Still gotta use less basil though. Let's see. Yes, but Disney color-coded him as white, not white Hispanic. It's why one of my neighbors had a kidnapping attempt. The guys wanted a white Hispanic girl. that got intense fast. Alutaku. By the way, I made a video about Showa era Kamen Rider shows video. What a rumble, nothing new. My neighborhood sucks. Yeah, sounds like it. Mine's not exactly good neither. Alright. So 24A. How does Asha deal with the king, who was a good person trying to do good things, but wrong reasons, wrong intentions, magic book, everything just kind of went to hell? The people of Rosa start to believe in Asha's love for the kingdom more than the king's love for the kingdom. Their inner wishes start to light up just like in the movie. Everyone's a star, etc. The king's power starts to clash with the villagers' power. Demon book magic is tearing away at him, using his past tragedy to control him. If he loses his power, the book tells him, it will all be taken away from you again. Everyone will die, just like your parents. In his madness, his corrupted and twisted form of love, he gets another burst of power to overcome everybody else. So again, showcasing how even love can be twisted into something vile and evil. As masses of power and magic swirl around him, Asha walks towards him, the glowing hope in her heart shielding her from the malevolence, hair and dress blowing from the chaotic windstorm that his magic is producing. The king starts the monologue. He starts going on and on about how he's only trying to do good. He is doing his best. It's all been for the good of the kingdom. He never intended to hurt anyone, but Asha forced his hand, etc., etc., etc. At this point, Asha gets very close to him. Everyone is expecting some kind of a climactic clash of powers between her internal magic and the king's externalized demon book magic. Asha proceeds to shock everyone, from the townsfolk to the wishing star to the king himself, as she proceeds to hug him. And this, again, shocks everybody. She tells him it's okay. She understands. He was doing what he thought was best for everyone, and it worked for a while. But no one can ever control people's hearts and desires for long, even with the good intentions. He helped build this peaceful kingdom, but now it was time for him to let it go and have faith in his people that their journey will still be good for the kingdom. He is to guide, not control. He no longer has to be afraid. It will be all right. From there, Asha's hope, her inner light, flows from her to the king's heart. The energy mixes with his own, and his original magic sorcery, empowered by Asha's hope/love/spirit, grows and starts pushing away the evil demon book magic. Checking out the chat. Jeez. And so that's how I plan for the sympathetic villain route to go, where she uses love, that thing which they just didn't include in any way in this movie. The love for the people, love for her family, love for the king. She uses that love and brings her love inside of him. And that's how he uses genuine love to help him break away from all that's been going on. 24B, if we're going the traditional evil route. The people are inspired by Asha's words and her words of hope. Their internal hearts start glowing with new wishes, which is what happened in the original movie. But we give a little more detail. I wish to be happy again. I wish I can pursue my dreams once more. I wish for happier days, etc., etc. Everyone's wishes such overpower the king, and he is defeated like in the movie. Everyone's original wish comes back to them. People wonder if they can even hold multiple wishes at the same time. And Asha assures them that they can. That heart is as big as the universe or some crap like that. So they can hold an infinite amount of wishes, even if they can only chase one at a time. And finally, at 25, at the end, happily ever after. In the original ending of the movie, the king is trapped in an evil mirror, taken to the dungeon. The queen now controls everybody. And what they do is, now, the movie ended this in what would have been a good way, but again, they just kind of messed it up, is people began to chase the dreams on their own, and the queen was there to help them. They just did not do enough with it. And Asha was there, but she... Oh yeah, in the movie, Asha became a fairy godmother, because that's what the wish did. But again, I just don't like the ending, so whatever. How I ended it. So in 25A, the evil demon magic is defeated. The king comes back to his senses, laments over all that he's done. The townsfolk are still plenty mad. Asha reminds them, the townsfolk, that it was they who gave up their wishes willingly instead of working towards them. They chose this path. She gives some speech about forgiveness, as everyone decides to give the reformed king one more chance. Now, he will not be granting people's wishes by magic. He will help grant people's wishes by helping them work towards it, and building a kingdom that gives them that freedom. And also one that stops the bad wishes from running amok. We gotta throw that in. That bad wishes do exist, but now the king does his kingly duty of preventing bad wishes from going crazy. The traitor friend returns, feeling bad, because, he sided with the king, but again, evil corrupted magic. But everyone lets him know it's okay. He was doing it out of the love of his heart, and merely lost his way, but he found it again himself. From here, we talk about the power of love. From here, talks about the power of love begin, and it's implied that love is starting to sprout in the hearts of Asha and the friend. Their hands are put together, and they blush. Aww. Fast forward 6 months later. Asha is the king's apprentice once more. His statues are torn down, because he had a bunch of statues built of him, and he's working with the people to make their dreams come true. He gives guidance to those with those. He gives guidance to those with good wishes, helping them find their path, and also the bad wishes, giving those people guidance, helping those with negative traits turn them into positive ones. An example might be one who wishes for girls to love him. One moment as I take a sip of my happy juice. Getting tongue-tied with all this stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Alright. So an example of the bad wishes might be someone who wishes for a woman to fall in love, for a woman to love him, to instead wish to become somebody worthy of her love. So instead of his wish being, hey, make her love me, his new wish, his new dream thing to chase for is to become somebody worthy of her love. And maybe throw in a little joke about how she already loves him, so he's like, oh, wish granted. Boom. That one's for free, Disney. Asha is with her new boyfriend now. The king asks when he can help her with her wish. She squeezes the boyfriend's hand, turns towards him, and says all her dreams already coming true. And she leans in for a kiss, and the movie ends. If we go for the evil villain route, instead of the king being trapped inside a mirror, we go old school, and he explodes along with the magic. So let him die. Disney doesn't kill people anymore. They gotta go back to that. Along with the explosion, unfortunately, with everybody else's wish balls. Because all the wishes are trapped in little spheres, so those explode as well. They all feel like their wishes are gone. As this is going on, the tower Asha is on starts to crumble. She falls, but is caught at the last minute by the betrayal friend. It's revealed his wish to protect those he loves is still there within him. While everyone questions how can that be, Asha reminds them of what just transpired. Even if their old wishes were crushed away, they can still make new wishes, even if the new wish is just a clearer version of the old wish. The queen laments her husband's passing, but says it's time to give up her crown as she hands it over to Asha, saying something along the lines of how Rosas will be built on the wishes and dreams of the new generation. So again, passing the crown from the old generation to the next, giving those lessons, etc. Fast forward 6 months later, and it's the same as 25A, but instead it's Asha and the former queen doing the underground stuff, and the new king working with Asha's grandpa, bringing him back, to help inspire the new generation, teaching them about wishes, etc. And so that, ladies and gentlemen, if I go back here to me, is how I will change the story of the Kingdom of Rosas, Disney's Wish, Asha's backstory, King's backstory, etc. And again, I did this over the past 2 days in between all of my other work that I do. PNX, I think there's no version of the story where I would want to keep the Forbidden Magic book. Really? I like the Forbidden Magic book. Because of the ways I change into something else. So that is the idea. What else we have here? Jensen, on his way to make the movie. She grants a random wish after the king wants her not to. It turns out bad. They work together to fix the problem. In the end, he is a little more liberal granting wishes. But she understands why she can't grant them all. That's another way it could have gone. No, my way is obviously not the way. It's just ways I thought of changing it up to make it more of the old school Disney. Especially with bringing love back. There's no love in this movie. None. Aside from maybe like generic I love people in general love, but they barely did anything with that neither. So let me know, folks. What do you think about that? Oops, Rumble chat. Get back here. I keep doing that. There you are. Which version did you like more, A or B? Which one would you personally go with? Any type of rewrites you would want to do? Anything which you want me to go back to? Things which you would want me to change, etc. Let me know. As I finish out the last little bit of this tea. It's good tea, I just don't know what to call it. Same with the other one, but that's a T-Man problem. I was hoping to release it tomorrow, but I probably won't do it until Friday, because I still need to make waifus for the teas and figure out the final balance for the tea I was drinking. The basil leaves, they're killing me. Rio says I would actually go with A more of the two. Actually, why don't I... One second. Why don't I put up a poll? Moderation, participants... How can I do polls up here? Engage with your audience. There we go. Start a poll. Would you go with sympathetic villain or traditional villain? Not even of my visions. Just in general, would you want Disney to go with the sympathetic villain route for this movie or traditional villain route? Sympathetic or villain? Good option of either or if you're not sure. Start the poll. There we go. So go ahead, vote in the poll. Let me know. It's on the YouTube. Sorry, Rumble. Does Rumble have the ability to make polls yet? Let me see. Slow chat, large history, pop in chat. No polls. Sorry, Rumble. Okay, so far we got sympathetic, either or, going with 50-50. Either or is now winning. Let me go back to my actual chat so I can see what people are saying. So yeah, obviously this movie did have potential of doing a lot of things differently. But again, it's like these people just don't care anymore. My main thing would just be to show why wishes are important. Why you need to have these wishes, these dreams. Then showcase how everything can go wrong. How your dreams could lead to disaster. But that doesn't mean you give up your dreams. Talk about how the act of fulfilling them is just as important as them being fulfilled. Like they were with Pinocchio. Pinocchio didn't just become a real boy right away. He had to go on a journey to become a real boy. So play with that notion. Play with why that's important, why it leads to growth. Maybe going back to version A, have the king's previous wish be something really stupid, just really childish, as children usually do. But if I'm gonna move my mouse is hovering right over the end screen button. One wrong click. Maybe go into how, if his dream was fulfilled, he would have never built the Kingdom of Rosas. And none of these good things would have ever happened. He would not have met his wife. He would not have brought so many people happiness and peace and joy. Anything other than what they did. So that's my overall take on all that. Some people might disagree, but you're free to. There were a couple of comments trying to say something along the lines of "I don't know what I'm talking about," etc., etc. But I don't really pay attention to those guys. They don't hold enough sway, I guess you can say. Hey, get back here. There we go. Sometimes it's also that you realize your dream was a mistake. Sometimes, hopefully, you figure it out before everything is on fire and people are very angry with you. That's another good point as well. Sometimes your dreams are a mistake. The movie could have done something along those lines as well. Just bring it up just by like one other person. Just like, hey, you have this dream, but your dream sucks. Okay, live for an hour and a half. Quicker than I expected, actually. How are we doing with this? 4 votes, 50-50. Sympathetic or either or. Nobody wanted a traditional villain? That's actually surprising to me. Alright, so with all that, I won't end the poll just yet. Look over at Putin, whose dream is to bring back the Russian Empire. You can do that, but I try and avoid the political stuff on this particular channel. Speaking of which, Rio, if you didn't know, I do have a Discord. If you want to have more conversations like this, I highly recommend it. I know everyone always says this about their own Discord, but I truly mean it. I am a huge fan of my Discord just because it's fun. It's not as active as I would like it to be. We have our fair share of a dozen or so common, frequent posters, I guess you can say. What's the link in chat? But it's just a good place. Everyone has good conversations. I rarely have to break up any fights. Sometimes I cause the fights. It's just an overall fun place. So yeah, go ahead and check that out. And also, here, go back to this. Give me a second. Check out the website, dragonstreasure.com, where you can find all of your anime-themed tea needs. Gotta do this as well. Watching my phone, but can't vote on a poll. Sorry, lad. So if you guys want to support me, so it's a fun little thing. I've been on YouTube for 4.5 years. And the amount of money I have made in the past 4.5 years on YouTube is not enough to cover 2 months worth of expenses. So I have put in a lot of work. Even with a 2 million view video. Just joined. I don't think it's exactly political, given someone to clarify the real life goings on. I try and avoid with the channel and the Discord. Because everybody already talks so much about this stuff. I try and make my place an actual place for escapism that a lot of people seem to avoid. Also, on the site, may I have waifus? If you have, let me zoom in a little bit. I forgot this screen is a different. So when you hover over, a lot of the teas, not all of them as you can see, but a lot of them have waifus attached to them now. So you can go and take a look. Caramelized pear, cherry green. See which teas have waifus and which ones don't. Come on. English breakfast. They were made with AI, but I do plan to upgrade them when I can to hand-drawn versions. I should have more than this. Come on, what are my waifus? Waifus! There we go. So we got Magical Jupiter, Mars. I really love this one. This one is one of my favorites. Mercury, Moon, Venus. Goats are notorious for being sociopaths. Start by making the goats the villain, evil for the sake of chaotic evil, and the rest of it just falls into place. That might be a good way of making me tolerate the villain. Or the goat, I mean. Because I really hated the goat. Oh, I could do this as well. Okay. I gotta do this more in the future. I keep forgetting I have options of what I can do. You can also be on top. Even on the side. What is this? Can I move this to the other side? I cannot. It's a little bit pointless. Alright, sorry, back to the plot. Rumble, get back here. I really wish the Streamlabs OBS thing can also look at Rumble chats. Because having to look at so many chats at once is difficult. But yes, alright, so that's the website. That's me covering all that stuff. Thank you for joining, Rio. And with all of that... Oh yeah, the reason I brought this up is... So yeah, 4.5 years on YouTube, a 2 million view video, and I have not made enough money to cover 2 full months of bills and whatnot, living expenses. So ads and whatnot don't pay too well. Super chats are a thing, memberships are a thing, but mostly buying from my website, where these are my teas. It's not a drop shipping thing, it's... It's my actual teas. These are for tomorrow. Yeah. The ones that I actually make, well, most of them make. Some of them come to me as it is. They have the waifus on the back, the ones that have the waifus. That is how I wish to actually support the stuff that I do. And we do have memberships as well. Teas, no, other products. Oops, herbs and spices. A Dragon Swings membership. So instead of a YouTube thing, you can do a This, where I get more money, you get things like discounts, access to all of my teas, tickets for the monthly giveaways, and for the end of the year giveaways, we do something big every year. Last year was PS5. This year, we're doing an RTX 4090. You can go to the website, look at the details of how to get the tickets. Recently cuts the prices of all the teas as well. And so with all of that, yeah, that pretty much covers it. I know how much money the big YouTubers make from just reading people's ads. I'm hoping that if I just read my ads for myself, I get more of that money. Support someone who actually works hard at this stuff. Goat, villain, Asha, entitled brats at first. King, wise parent figure. Put this on screen. Asha wishes on the star. Star gives magic to Goat. Goat does evil. King helps Asha fix her mistake. Also remove all excess characters. Yeah, you did not. I understand the homage that you want to do for the Seven Dwarfs, but it didn't work. I didn't like them. I didn't like any of them. It was just awful. Too many characters. None of them really got any type of character except the grumpy one. So yeah. Let's take a look at the poll. I'll close in a little bit. So after 11 votes, we have 10 votes, 12 votes, 11 votes, 12 votes. Okay, then we have a completely even 33% going all ways. Are you guys doing that on purpose? 33% want to sympathetic, 33% want villain, 33% say either or. I'll post this. Okay, funny. Ooh. Okay. So ending the poll. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, end. That's hilarious. Economy cast is classic Disney. Alright. And so with all of that, we've been live for an hour and a half. I'm not a fan of prolonging stuff as long as people talk. AdLad75. Still haven't watched Wish, but only just learned about the way they had originally had the star as a shapeshifter and the queen was meant to be evil. Sounds better that way, yeah. So they had a few storyboards with this, where the star could shift shapes and becomes the love interest for Asha. But of course, they have to say no love interest. We can't do love anymore. That's not a thing Disney does. And the queen was also evil, but you can't have female character have flaws. Not nowadays. And so she ended up being just another Mary Sue. Every time. Rumble. Okay. Whew. Alright, so I've said about all that I need to say. Chat. Yes, definitely should have better eye candy on that magic. Think about Puss in Boots. Yeah, Puss in Boots was another... Yeah, DreamWorks kind of kicked Disney's ass for that one. They did Wishes a lot better, I think. And they actually had just a good old-fashioned evil for the sake of evil villain. Which Disney does not do enough of. Not anymore. I mean, your little wish comes true. Dream big. Is it really too much to ask to be told that I, too, can be evil and my moral choices are in fact my own? Yeah, watch Puss in Boots 2 if you haven't, Rio. They do a very good job with that, where the main villain is just the dick. One of the things he does is he gets the Jiminy Cricket on the shoulder, who tries to guide his conscience, and the Cricket realizes, you're actually a monster. You're evil. There is no redeeming you. It's like, yeah, you just figured that out. I'm telling you that the whole time. Okay. Still doing pretty good. Got 13, 14 people watching, 23 likes. Better than usual Teacasts. Okay, sold. I bailed for anime ages ago because they weren't gaslighting me there. Yeah, Puss in Boots 2 is actually an excellent movie. I highly recommend it. I watched it however long it was. But yeah, Puss in Boots 2 was fantastic. They did a lot of good things, a lot of good. How can I just watch it? What they did with the side villain, if you can even call him that, where he's like, and I'm not talking metaphorical or an idea. I mean, I'm actually this. I won't spoil it for you. But yeah, highly recommend Puss in Boots. One of the few times in the last couple of years, the last decade, where the movie made by these people was actually good. Yeah, it was not made by Disney. It was made by DreamWorks. Yeah, I love these characters. It all just looks so good. Alright, so with all of that, guys, I am pretty much just stalling for time for no reason whatsoever. This bloody movie pulled no punches actually made me scared for the cats, yeah. And so I'm gonna go ahead and leave things as they are. Thank you all who have joined us, all who are watching the VOD. Again, come and by the Discord, say hi, buy some of my tea, especially with the holidays coming up. First off, if you say you don't drink tea, you are wrong. Talk to me about it. I will find you a tea that you will like. Maybe you have family members who like tea. Family members you can introduce. Remember, all of this supports me directly. This is my tea shop, my website. Goes directly towards me. And so, yeah, with all of that being said, thank you all, and I will see you next time. Farewell.